So we're going to talk about Nepal, of course, because some pretty spicy shit has been going down over there since I spoke with the comrade yesterday. Like a lot of really spicy shit. But if you know BRG never ever ever misses an opportunity to shit on the police. Why do we hate the police so much? Like, why do we communists say that like the fucking police got to go? Well, for one, as Lenin said, they are the armed enforcement wing domestically of capital and white supremacist racial capitalism, but also like these people are literal just fucking degenerates. Look at this guy.
Look at him. Look at him.
Oh,
Look at him.
So
High as fuck.
How is it?
High as
Okay, some people have been saying this isn't fentanyl because fentanyl constricts your pupils. This guy's pupils are as big as dinner plates, but he's definitely got the fentanyl going on.
fucking on job.
Like I told
Gonna
you.
come and deal with shit.
No. Like I told you, you're coming off a double and you got in a bad back.
That's
So
right.
relax.
Also, note how they always stick up for each other. Like, this is not a double, bro. This is not a double. He does not have a bad back. He's high as fuck. He's high as fuck, but you are afraid of besmirching. This is in Lynn, Massachusetts, by the way. I'm not familiar with Lynn, Massachusetts, but people have been saying that this is a very corrupt little township or village or whatever up there. Don't say fentanyl. You will make your FBI agent lightheaded through the screen. Good. I want the FBI unable to do their job. But yeah, like this is common all across the country. I recall a case in, I think it was the LA metropolitan area, where a cop literally stole drugs from an evidence locker and stored them and overdosed in a bathroom. And I cannot recall correctly if he died or not, but yeah, he was fucked up. But yeah, these are just fucking like literal sociopaths that pursue badges and guns so that they can have the monopoly on violence and carry out all types of crimes against the people.
Yep. Call your sergeant right now. Call your sergeant. Call your sergeant.
Oh, man.
Call your sergeant. I want your sergeant here. I have my rights to call a sergeant here. So call your sergeant right now.
All right, we're gonna call
Call your sergeant. What's your name?
Officer mates.
What's
Hey,
your
real
name?
quick, officer
What's
mates.
your name?
They are.
Protecting him. What's your name?
What's my name?
Yes.
Officer Sapinski.
And what's your name? Probably don't even know. Can't even speak. Nope.
So, let me
No, this motherfucker's high. Look at him.
No, I'm
Gonna lose your job, motherfucker. Gonna lose your job. Gonna lose your job, motherfucker. Look at him. Look at him. Gonna lose his job. Gonna lose his job. The drug motherfucker coming to the job, trying to correct me. Yup. Look at him. Call your sergeant. Call your sergeant. Yeah. Trying to protect his boyfriend. I would be ashamed of having him as a partner too. I would. Fucking disgrace. Disgrace, bro. This guy.
They're all just standing around as if their colleague was not just fucking high off his nut. So yeah. Also, the Israelis, well, the Zionists, the Zionist entity, of course, does not want peace. What they want is the total destruction of the Palestinian people as a distinct nation and the removal of every single Palestinian from their land. So, mainstream bourgeois news was reporting that Israel was willing to accept. Okay, here's the deal with Israel. They do not want a ceasefire. They do not want a ceasefire. They do not care. Okay? So all of these like ceasefire negotiations, it's stalling for time. It's allowing them to regroup and recuperate. The only thing that will stop these crimes is the destruction of the Zionist entity. So they literally bombed Qatar, where there is a Hamas delegation that was discussing a meeting regarding the U.S. proposal. They were holding a meeting and they were talking about the latest U.S. proposal, and the Zionists bombed them. If I recall correctly, all of the delegation was able to escape. But Qataris were killed in this. So again, Israel is a rogue state. Israel does not give a shit. Israel is a mad dog that will not stop until it is forced to stop. Also, you have a GoFundMe here. There is a queer comrade who lives in a country that is quite dangerous for queer people. And he is seeking safe relocation to a country where he can live openly without fear for his safety. This fundraiser aims to support the cost of his travel, legal documentation, and initial resettlement. So, if you would like to help a queer comrade escape a country where it is not okay to be queer, you can feel free to donate to his GoFundMe, because repression of any type is bad, and people should be free to be who they are. So, to Nepal. Members of the governing elite were personally targeted in the unrest in Kathmandu. The homes of several former prime ministers were set on fire. Apparently, one of these former prime ministers' wives was burned to death in one of these fires. And yeah, from a human standpoint, it's not good to think about a woman being burned alive. But also, on the other hand, the masses will not show any sympathy to you if you live at their expense. So Ravi Lakshmi Chitrakar, the wife of former Prime Minister Jalanath Khanal, was critically burned in one attack, according to a leader of Mr. Khanal's party. Mr. Oli, that's the former Prime Minister from the CPN-UML, Communist Party of Nepal, United Marxist-Leninist Party, who, if I recall correctly, was forced to resign because the people were literally preparing to lynch him if he did not do so. So his house was also set on fire, as were the houses of two other former prime ministers, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, known to the world as Prachanda, and Sher Bahadur Duba. The residence of Ramesh Lekhak, the home minister, who resigned on Monday after accepting moral responsibility for the 19 deaths, was also burned. So, yeah, the masses are not buying hollow-ass apologies. They want you gone. Videos posted on social media showed helicopters airlifting ministers from their quarters in the government's main administrative building. So yeah, they're basically evacuating all these people because the people are literally going to fuck you up. This is Nepal's parliament. Yeah, someone said that it looks like a warlord's house. It does, but that's their parliament. And of course, because these are Zoomers, they have to aura farm. आरंभ होगा उसकी ताकत मेरा क्रोध उसका अहंकार और मेरी जिद के बीच ये जंग का ऐलान है anytime anywhere anybody I am that is a grenade launcher that they've seized from the police. Ready. अब एक नया युद्ध. And people are calling this a color revolution. This is a mass uprising, okay? This is not a color revolution. Stop. Like that's do you have any idea how racist that is? Like the people do not need Americans to tell them that it's all right to rebel. Mao, like Nepal is literally overrun with Maoists, okay? Many of which have guns. Like there were literal Maoist factions that refused to disarm after the peace deal. They're in the jungle, and almost universally they are supporting the in rebellion because OG taught us that it's right to rebel. So not everything is a fucking color revolution. Do color revolutions happen? Yes. Does the American government profit off chaos? Yes. But also, like, it's right to rebel. You cannot just attribute every single mass uprising to the hidden hand of the white man in Washington, D.C. That is extremely racist. Plus, the organs that are usually used to support these color uprisings have been defunded and gutted by the Trump administration. So, yeah, this is against corruption. It's not about social media. It's not about backing the U.S. It's about, hey, you promised us land reform, like you promised us a cool deal, and now you're fucking us over, and you've betrayed the people, and now are you going to pay for that? And of course, as a Maoist, I've been preying on Prachanda's downfall for years. Like this type of stuff makes me happy. It made me happy when the precinct burned in Minneapolis. It makes me happy when the revisionists burned in Nepal. As always, the revisionists. That's the parliament. All reactionaries are paper tigers. In appearance, the reactionaries are terrifying, but in reality, they are not so powerful. From a long-term point of view, it's not the reactionaries, but the people who are powerful. And of course, people on Nepalese Facebook are laughing at all of these rich fucking ass kissers who have these rich ass kissers whose houses are being burned up. Like they're not going to feel sorry for you. They don't give a fuck, nor should they. You've fuck them over. You live at their expense. Why should they feel sorry for you? Oh, and some British dude somehow ended up in Nepal. Hold on, reload the video. Copy. People keep sending me shit on Discord. There we go.
Is man true.
How do you know? In every mass uprising, there's always going to be a fucking Brit. Like Brits in peculiar places should be a meme.
Fuck politician. Fuck everybody.
They were saying fuck Capioli. That's the prime minister that was forced to resign. But yeah, this guy was just rolling through Kathmandu on a motorbike. And he ended up in the protests.
Holy fuck. Why did everybody just run?
Police are like doing something.
Hitting each other.
Not exactly hitting. Police they might hit. So we are running. So we are still on protest. Better you leave from this way. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Your safety is our concern.
Excuse me. This is insane. I should not be here.
All right, so I just parked my bike there, and we're going back to where everybody ran away. It's the type of stuff that really does make your hair stand on end. I think it's supposed to get bigger today as well. I'm not sure. We'll go ask some questions of some people.
Hey brother, how are you? I can't shake your hand, but nice to meet you. What's your name? Oh dear, okay.
Run up this way for some reason. Let's go see what's going on.
I don't see any swing sets burning. This is not a real revolution.
Why are we running this way?
Actually, one man threw his phone in the middle of the nowhere, so that's why.
I'm joking.
Oh shit.
I can't quite believe what I'm witnessing right now. They're all hitting this guy, I think, because he threw a stone.
That or he's a government minister or vice deputy minister or some shit.
Hit someone
The people know who the enemy is.
else. Tensions are high. That was a gunshot that just went off. That's another gunshot.
They're firing real bullets at these protesters, by the way. They skipped right past the whole rubber bullets phase and just started fucking mowing people down. They've killed over 20 people. Also note, like, Nepal has a lot of people that go overseas for college and stuff like that. Like, brain drain is a real thing in the third world. So this sign says premium American degree. So, yeah, there's a lot of migrant workers that come from Nepal and send remittances, send money back home to their family. A lot of third world countries are semi-dependent on those types of remittances for hard currency. So, yeah.
Look at them pushing that over there. More gunshots in the air. Oh, shit.
I've heard there's also contradictions between the police and the army, and even within the police and the army. Whereas in Nepalese BRG, fuck the government buildings, racist neighbors, where it's at. Well, ministers are better than racist neighbors. There are like 30,000 Nepalese people that work construction and as bus drivers in Serbia. And there's also quite a few Nepalese migrant workers in the Middle East. As a matter of fact, on October 7th, a lot of Nepalese were taken by Hamas and the resistance. So, yeah, as a matter of fact, for Chanda's punk ass, he literally was like, I oppose October 7th, a brutal terrorist attack. That's just a sign of how far the this guy has fallen. Like his name literally means fierce one. Fierce one for who? For Israel? So yeah, I'm glad they burned his house down.
He's just put off some tear gas over this way. Bollocks. Oh, fuck, sorry, dude. There's some more cans being thrown this way. Fucking hell. Wow, that fucking really gets in your eyes. Oh, shit, man. Fucking hell. Yeah. Fuck me, dude. I've never witnessed anything like it there. Chucking the tear gas on the side. My eyes are watering. You can feel it going up your nose. Jesus.
Now you know how the Irish felt.
It's over there. The smoke's going off. We're throwing it back here. This way, let's go. I'm kind of worried for my bike now.
This is not for social media. This is for corruption.
Bro, people are literally being shot and you're worried about your fucking bike. Typical fucking Brits.
Yes, I know, I've heard.
Yeah.
For the kids that were flaunting their wealth or something.
Because people are saying this is for social media. No, this is for like corruption.
Yeah.
Because our our brother and sister, like 17, 18, they just died.
Yeah, they've just been shot.
They're murdered.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go a little bit further to see where they fired that tear gas off. You can still smell it in the air. Real chemical shit, that. And here's the guy getting stuff out of his eyes. Here, they're firing more tear gas down there, as you can see. Fucking hell.
Also, if you get tear gas or any other chemical agent in your eyes, use water. Your eyes are not a petri dish. Your eyes are not a chemistry set. Use water. All that milk, shit like that. No. Water. To put out a tear gas canister, first of all, do not pick up a tear gas canister with your bare hands. Put a traffic cone over it and pour water on it.
Did you get in the fire? Bloody hell, man. They've retreated all the way back there. They've created a gap between the protesters over here and the police. Have moved all the way back. Absolutely insane.
Make a video of them. These are all corrupted police officers.
You think they're corrupt?
This whole system is corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we want to fuck this house.
That's why you were all protesting here.
Yeah.
Well, you've pushed them back here. You were over here, right?
Yeah.
And you pushed forward.
Yeah.
For the first time in my life, I've just experienced tear gas. Welcome to Nepal. This is going to get dangerous real soon. It's time for me to get a little bit backwards. Tear gas. Tear gas. Tear gas. Tear gas. Let's start running. You can see, look. Ambulance over there. Tear gas is being thrown back by some guy. He's just fucked his hand up doing that.
Use oven mitts or construction gloves.
There's an
Do not pick up a fucking tear gas canister with your bare hands.
ambulance there. I think someone might have been hit. Oh, it really gets in your eyes, dude.
Instead of putting some like injured people, they are putting just government people or police so that they can attack us or they can save them. So this is the major like problem which we have. Yesterday they did same thing. They just like took political member to save from us, not the victory, not the like injured people. So much like corrupted this.
Well, this is quite literally insane. They have pushed the police all the way back over this way, all the way down. We've just come from there where that Skyland lounge is, and now everyone's up here. The journalists have come into the crowds, it seems, no longer being protected by the riot police. Fires over there. You can see those big plumes of smoke through that tree line. Has come up here. They're trying to get into this gate.
Like, I can literally sense the rage of these people, like from thousands of miles through my screen. Like, these people are pissed. Okay, these people are pissed. I literally saw a government minister in Nepal literally being fucking flying kicked into a wall. This is where revisionism gets you. This is where revisionism gets you. Also, no, we're not listening to any cringe Brazilian funk edit music. But like, this is where revisionism gets you. When you promise the people a decent quality of life, when you promise the people an independent socialist country, when you promise the people communism, you have to deliver. Otherwise, this is the result. The masses will never forgive you. If you betray the masses, they are going to fuck you up, as they should. It is always right to rebel.
Look at this. Look at this.
I can't believe what I'm witnessing right now. There's tear gas right there. Again, that plume of smoke in the background, I didn't catch it on camera, but that's a petrol station apparently blown up, a gas tank.
Our government is very corrupt because they kill 20 people yesterday. They are very bad. The KP Salma Oli.
Brother, are you okay?
I'm okay because tear gas affected me in my eyes and.
I know. I can see it, my friend. I can feel it, my friend, too. They're firing off tear gas over there as well again.
So in regards to this, it's the person who's most likely to take over right wing. So there's various factions. So you have a shitload of armed Maoist factions, one of which is led by a guy named Biplav, who's further to the left of Prachanda's funky ass. And it's way too early. Like the comrade that I talked to yesterday, he literally said that people on the ground do not know who is going to take over. It could be the army, it could be Biplav, it could be anybody. And like trying to predict stuff like this in the heat of rebellion, it's kind of a fool's errand, especially if you're from thousands of miles away.
Look at the sheer amount of people. Over here, to the left of me, they're putting down all these railings. They're now trying to get into, I don't know, I believe it must be some government office, all the barbed wire being pulled down.
Especially since like YDSA comrades, like especially in regard to the student intifada cases, YDSA was the only organized DSA presence at these encampments in this struggle. Meantime, big DSA was hemming and hawing over like statements and stuff like that. Y'all were out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that's one reason why I have so much respect for you guys, because like y'all are out there, y'all are doing a thing. You all passed a solid anti-Zionist resolution before big DSA did. Like we could accurately call YDSA the vanguard of the DSA movement. So yeah, I definitely was going to give you guys your flowers.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think back during the last YDSA budget fight, or during the passage of the 2023 YDSA budget, and then during the struggle over whether or not we would keep certain portions of that in the DSA budget during the budget crisis back in 2024, there was a lot of conversations, a lot of talk about, you know, whether YDSA was a good return on investment and stuff like that. And some people were approaching it from a very numbers perspective, where they were saying, oh, listen, you know, YDSA, this is an investment in more dues payers, it'll bring the money back. And if you look at it that way, it's not actually true. I mean, YDSA is not a net moneymaker for DSA, but I think the way we should approach this is YDSA, like you say, is in many ways the vanguard of DSA. I think politically and also structurally, you can see.
And then like, are we not socialists? Like, why the fuck are we acting like browbeaten bean counting accountants? Like,
exactly.
our goal is to establish a socialist system. Our goal is to defeat this empire. Our goal is not to make fucking money.
Right. You know, it's like, do a strategic political analysis of where we're spending our money, and instead of trying to nickel and dime, you know, and like try to penny pinch and all that, like look at.
If I was going to take money out of anything, I would take money out of like consistently spending crap money on elections that we lose. like we're running somebody for president in 2028. That's kind of that's going to be a big money sink. Like, come on, like we have to get our priorities straight.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I mean, the thing with the running for president in 2028, you know, I think it depends heavily on who that ends up being. I cannot say I would be excited. You know, I would not want DSA endorsing like an AOC, full stop.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Rashida's the only Rashida's the only
yeah.
candidate I would happily endorse. But I think the people that wrote that probably had an AOC in mind, or God forbid, Graham Blattler, a literal ex Blackwater / Academy mercenary. And, you know, like we have to stop propping up these funky weird ass white dudes. Like we don't like how the fuck we didn't know who this guy was 2 months ago. Now he's hanging out with Bernie and AOC.
Yeah, I'm
Meantime,
very cautious about.
meantime, you've got actual BIPOC, socialist, well, social democratic, but BIPOC candidates who agree with a lot of our shit. Like, I can already tell that Graham Plattner is going to be like a problem if we keep boosting him.
Yeah.
So like, whereas Rashida, Corey, like we already know where they stand. Rashida was out in Rashida has been organizing Detroit for years.
Mm-hmm.
Corey was out there in Ferguson. Like, why? Like, we cannot keep. I'm not saying that DSA spits on people like Rashida and Corey, but like, there's no way in the world that this white dude appears out of nowhere and all of a sudden he has a national platform. That's fucking weird.
Yeah, a lot of people just want to do this kind of like left populism, you know. And what I think is really impressive about Rashida is she hasn't shied away from being a real champion for even deeply unpopular things, as long as they're the right principled stance to take. Like around, you know, Palestine, she was at times the only person in Washington D.C. who was saying this is a genocide and we need a total stop to all money. I don't care whether it's defensive or whatever, you know. Stop funding this genocide. And you know,
and just like how people were constantly talking about AOC. Like, why is AOC seen as being like the figurehead of the social democratic left of the United States and not Corey? And the only thing I can Rashida, like the only thing I can attribute it to is anti-blackness and anti-Arabism.
Yeah, no, I can see that angle. I think a lot of it is also this celebrity politics, you know. It's just AOC for a long time was like the household name, you know. She's like synonymous with the kind of Bernie-crat style socialism, and people just want to ride those coattails.
Yeah, the shit that we need to the shit that we need to be moving away from.
Right.
And like, I would even say, I would rather Zoran than AOC. Like, Zoran also has his own set of problems. He's also mealy-mouthed on Palestine. I don't think like he's an ideologically committed Zionist. I mean, the guy did found an SJB chapter at Bodwin, but like, I think he's got a variety of people in his ear. His campaign went and hired a bunch of Obama era Democrats, and they're trying to push him to moderate. And you cannot moderate on Palestine. You cannot moderate on questions of literal fucking genocide, and you cannot act as if socialism is just free buses and free childcare. Those are aspects. But we have to talk about class. We have to talk about the dictatorship of the proletariat. Is Zoran Mamdani going to be at press conferences as the mayor of New York City if he wins, talk about the dictatorship of the proletariat? Of course not. Like, I'm not delusional. But like, we have to keep pushing the envelope further. We cannot just keep sliding it back for electoral opportunist gains.
Right.
That may or may not even present themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. We need a Leninist approach to election strategy. And I think what's really impressive and exciting about Zoran, which again, it's a very uneven process. There's been some extremely disappointing things coming out of the Zoran campaign too. But what's been really interesting to watch there is that Zoran's in many ways a new kind of elected or a new kind of candidate for DSA. Like, you look at an AOC and she does all this opportunist stuff like waffling on Iron Dome funding and stuff like that, because DSA doesn't really have any influence or control over. She's just kind of like an outside force that was a paper member of DSA who we endorsed. Whereas Zoran, you know, will sometimes do this kind of opportunist stuff, and it's weird. It's for the opposite reason, because Zoran is in many ways a cadre candidate. He has been cadre in New York City DSA. He, you know, you can trace him back for years. He's been a deeply active member of the chapter, and he's very much bought into the chapter's strategy. The thing is, with New York City DSA, the chapter, at least the leadership clique, is very much of this moderate or coalitionist, you could say opportunist kind of right socialism. You know, it's SMC and groundwork. So the strategy that he's bought into, that he's listening to, is this kind of rightist get elected at any cost, sort of left populist sort of strategy. But where that opens up some possibilities, which is really exciting, is if that's the case and you have elections like that, you know, if you look at like AOC, there's nothing you can really do to leverage DSA and make AOC change course, because AOC doesn't listen to DSA. AOC listens to DSA is one of many coalition partners that she sees herself as accountable to, and only barely at that. Whereas Zoran sees himself as of DSA, and if you can change DSA and you can struggle in that terrain to change the political outlook of DSA, the political content of DSA, then you can change how Zoran operates too. So I think, you know, it's a very uneven process. I've been very disillusioned with some of the stuff Zoran's been saying and doing, but I also think there's a kernel of good there that we should preserve and elevate, I think, even higher and better future cadre candidates and campaigns like that.
I definitely agree. But again, that's also like why I've been adamant about like because like that I'm pretty sure you've read that article from that Liberation Road guy, Goodkin.
Yeah.
And like this guy's wrong from top to bottom. I even wrote a response. But like
Liberation Road is so funny.
Yeah,
Such
I
a
hate how
funny
I hate how they stole the name of our caucus. Now people are going to be thinking now people are going to be reading Liberation Road. Why is Liberation endorsing electoral politics with the Democrats? But like, none of us like Mug, Liberation, LSE, Red Star, like none of Springs of Revolution emerged. Like none of the hard left caucuses in DSA support electoral abstentionism. So like
That's
and
enough.
like a lot and like we've taken a lot of shit for it. Like they're like, oh my god, why are you guys still running for office? Because like Lenin said and George Jackson paraphrased in Blood in My Eye. He said like until the masses of people in their like basically until you've got the same like the same energy that's taking place in Nepal right now, like on a mass scale in every single major American city. As long as people believe that elections are a valuable method in which to air grievances, like you're not going to succeed if you become hardcore electoral abstentionists. Like people constantly make references to the situation in Peru or the situation like we're in an entirely different context. Like there were various armed strategies that were tried in the 70s and all of them failed. The Black Liberation Army, M19CO, Weather Underground. Like we learned from all these comrades. Maybe not so much Weather Underground, but yeah, I really don't like them all that much. Fred Hampton didn't like them, but
Custeristic.
Yeah, custeristic, and putting people in situations where they can be unnecessarily hurt and killed and sent to prison for the rest of their lives. Like there are still people who went through that struggle who are still in prison. Look at H. Rap Brown. Look at like you literally still have people in prison from this shit. Like, so we have to actually be strategic. We cannot, and I get it. Like I understand ultra leftism because I was an ultra for so long. Well, most people in DSA would still say I'm an ultra, but like I was a literal fucking ultra leftist. Like my slogan was literally "Don't vote, revolt." Like I get it. Like sometimes you get tired of this constant inching along, and you see uprisings like took place in Ferguson, Baltimore, Minneapolis, and you see that stuff and it hardens you, and then you start thinking like, you know what? Maybe the revolution is finally here, and then what happens? It gets co-opted. You have the Urban League, you have the Salvation Army, you have the Ford and Rockefeller foundations, you have all this money being dumped on certain people who are seen by the bourgeois media as being leaders of these uprisings. And like we are always talking about like hard counterinsurgency, like doors getting kicked in the middle of the night and people being dragged off to black sites. But I would consider, at least in the United States, soft insurgency is a lot more dangerous because when that money starts hitting, especially if you broke, that's a hell of a. You're gonna be like, you know what? Fuck this revolution shit. I gotta eat. Like we talk about Patrice Cullors, all this. Well, I think they set out initially for that type of stuff, but all these like old Black Lives Matter leaders, like they took the silver coated. They took the sugar coated bullet, and that's a lot more dangerous than a hard bullet because a hard bullet it galvanizes people, it radicalizes people, it produces and martyr. Whereas the soft bullets, now, okay, they're going to offer you, say they offer you a seat in Congress. Hey, why don't you run for Congress? Why don't you do such and such? So we have to beware not just of hard counterinsurgency, but also of soft counterinsurgency, because soft counterinsurgency is definitely, at least in this conjecture, the most dangerous because so many people have fallen for it, and they make excuses, and people make excuses for them falling for it.
Right. It demoralizes and misleads people.
Yeah, demoralizes people, and as soon as like, for example, one of Mike Brown's friends was killed the other day in Ferguson. Like, you still have people dying behind this shit. People have died from mysterious overdoses. Like a lot of those people that were out there live streaming in 2014, 2015, that were out there, like they've died mysteriously or they vanished. So, I mean, COINTELPRO is
Yeah.
hard and soft is still a real thing.
And I think a lot of that is these local police departments, especially, they just operate like warlords. So as soon as they feel like they have the news cameras off their back, they'll go out and pull up the lists and just do vengeance, wreak vengeance on anyone who's dared to say anything about the cops. And that's what, with Zoran, that's what makes me pull my hair out whenever I see him kind of cozying up to the cops or thinking he can defang the police if he presents the right social democratic kind of compromise, right? Like the NYPD, all these police departments, they cannot be compromised with. They see themselves as warlords with an absolute right to terrorize whoever they want, whenever they want,
Yeah, and comparisons have been made to the Bill De Blasio mayoral to the Bill De
Right.
Blasio mayoralty.
They
Like
threatened to kill his daughter.
Yeah, they literally kidnapped
Yeah.
this dude's daughter at a protest and held her hostage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these people are fucking insane. Like, you cannot, like, all these reforms, these gradual reforms, like, you have to understand the nature of the enemy. Like, for God's sake, this is the same. Like, read Serpico's book. Serpico endorsed it, by the way. I think Serpico also said something stupid about that. But like, this is a notoriously. I mean, this is where Tammany Hall was, for fuck's sake. And so you have the Police Benevolent Association, the Fraternal Orders of Police. Like, these are extremely, extremely powerful groups. And my guess is, you know what, they might even let Zoran win. They might let Zoran win, hoping that we get caught up, we get wrapped up in the rapture, and we get like, oh my God, we're the mayor of NYC. Oh my God, yay, yay, yay. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have, like, they're already talking about capital flight. So basically, they're going to try to make it. They're going to try to build their own self-fulfilling prophecy. They're saying this guy's going to turn New York into a shithole. So you know what? Let's turn New York to a shithole. Let's be obstructionists. Let's like the fucking ruling class will orchestrate strikes.
Right.
Like
like
a lot of those old union heads. Like, I'm not talking about the progressive ones, like the teachers and the nurses and all that. Well, the NYC teachers, the teachers in NYC have a history of like being racist as fuck. If you look at the whole Oceanville Brownsville thing, but like the nurses and all that. But I'm talking about these real old school hard hat type, like Irish and Italian union heads. They're backing Cuomo, or they're either going to back Sliwa. So they're gonna make his life a living hell because, for one, like a lot of these people are extremely racist. They're not going to vote for him because his name is Zoran Mamdani and he's brown. And the thing is, like, I think that a major mistake that Zoran's campaign made, at least in the initial stages, was like, you cannot wait until a week before election day to start showing up with black people. Like, if you're serious as a socialist candidate or whatever you want to call yourself, like, you have to be out there. Like, you have to put black people first. Like, we cannot just be the afterthought. Like, you're going around trying to organize and canvassing with all these white transplants and shit. Like, you cannot just rely on gentrified neighborhoods. Like, he should have been in Harlem. He should have launched his campaign in Harlem. He should have launched his campaign in the Dominican neighborhood. Like, you have to go and you have to build your base from among the people who are the lowest and deepest oppressed. And people are like, oh my God, why are the black numbers so bad for Zoran? Because, like, a lot of those people are older. They're tied to the NYC public unions, which are basically machines.
Right.
So to crack that, to decrease the power of people my grandma's age, people my mom's age, people who are Eric Adams's age, to decrease that power, you have to get black millennials and you have to get black Zoomers out to vote. But the thing is, a lot of us don't vote because we realize that it's bullshit. Like, we've heard the same shit before. Like, somebody comes promising us the moon. Like, NYC has already had a DSA mayor, David Dinkins. And David Dinkins's mayoralty was defined by race riots. Like, so, yeah.
Well, plus the cop coup, the NYPD basically ousted Dinkins from office.
Yeah.
More or less. But yeah.
Yeah. Everybody forgets about David Dinkins. Everybody remembers Rudy Giuliani because, like, for one, Rudy Giuliani was a fucking media like superstar. Like, he became TV friendly because he used to perp walk. He used to perp walk mob defendants.
Right.
Yeah, that's the guy that's got John Gotti put away.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you had the whole
More within the
9/11
world
thing.
past.
Like,
Yeah.
I've joked that Rudy Giuliani's idea of heaven is going to be September 12th, 2001 forever. Like, that was the peak of his power. Like, that man can go and get a free dinner anywhere. Now he's just like known as some old fucking pervert that was clicked up with Donald Trump. Like, he got in a car accident. Like, if
What an
Rudy
end to a
Giuliani,
career.
yeah, like if Rudy Giuliani had gotten into a car accident in 2002, like, he'd have everybody coming to kiss his ass. Now, the only person that came to see him was his business partner. I don't even think Trump came to see him. But yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah. So back to your article. You basically break down all of the groups that are within YDSA. You talk about Reform and Revolution, basically the obvious winner. They've got a national co-chair now, Daniel, who I met, nice guy, and you got 2 at-large NCC members, Eli and Sophia. You've got Mug, and that's your own caucus, so of course you're going to be biased towards them. But yeah, so y'all got some pretty shit passed. You've got Springs of Revolution. I was about to say Springs of Resolution. That's the slate that I voted most. Well, we also had like Liberation basically like endorsed all of Springs of Revolution's platform. So a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't do that, but like they had a very, very efficient whipping machine at Big DSA convention.
Definitely.
And like all of their candidates got elected to the NPC. That's where organization gets you. Plus, again, it meets the moment. You have Brennan Roses, which got unasked, both at YDSA and Big DSA convention. Are they the ones that keep putting up that amendment to the International Committee consensus resolution like every time we have a convention?
Yes.
Why do they keep
perennial
keep doing
international debate. Yeah, it happens in YDSA too. It was one of the big ones. I mean, they're organizing for their line, their position. I guess it's what you do. I think most years they know they're not likely to pass it, but it's more about kind of taking the stand and demonstrating for it. I mean, I disagree with it personally. I think it's veering into almost kind of third campism more often than not. But I got to respect the mentality of
respect the hustle.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. If I put something up 2 years in a row and it fails 2 years in a row, it's a sign that people just don't fucking like it. Why would you? It's annoying. Like you literally had a dude from SMC get up there. Like if a dude from SMC opposes your position on internationalism from the left, that's a sign that people ain't rocking with you, bro. So you also have Constellation, which is not a thing anymore.
It's complicated. I mean, there still are some members in YDSA, but part of what I do in this article is I kind of break down where these different tendencies come from. And Constellation, I think, is an interesting case because you can't really, I don't think, understand them out of the specific historical context of between 2022 and 2025. You've got this bureaucratic period that I outlined, and that's the period when YDSA is developing for the first time a long-lasting national party bureaucracy, or the bureaucracy of the youth wing of a party, the ability to organize in an institutionalized manner so that the organizing work of developing new cadres isn't just happening within the various caucuses or in chapters that are large but on an uneven basis. And in that period, a lot of the people who are pushing that are delegates who wound up in Constellation because they were negatively polarized against BNR's leadership. But kind of what I'm arguing happens at Constellation this year is that they won so hard that they didn't really have anywhere to go. They won all of their big bureaucratic interventions they made in 2023, 2024. And that's really all there was to their project, I guess. Their positive intervention was developing this bureaucracy, and they succeeded in that. And then they didn't really have anywhere to go this year. So they had actually, of the major tendencies, they had the smallest voting bloc at convention, which is a big change from previous years where they were one of the kind of 2 caucus system pillars. But all their, they failed to reproduce their own leadership. Most of their leaders have graduated out now into DSA. They didn't really present an incisive positive intervention like the other caucuses did. Mostly they were voting in line with proposals that Reform and Revolution and MUG were bringing forward. So kind of what I think happened here is that MUG and R&R, as the new partyist tendency, have kind of taken up the mantle that was previously held by this bureaucratic tendency, and have kind of developed that to a new stage where now the question is, okay, we've got this party infrastructure. What do we do with it? How do we act on a national level? And I think that's what the Socialist Sanctuaries campaign is going to kind of accomplish this year. Yeah, it's kind of my analysis.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. Like a lot of people in big DSA do not know how. For one, they don't. A lot of big DSA people do not realize that you all are grown ass adults. Like a lot of people think that you're like, oh, that's the kiddies, that's the kiddie wing, that's the rugrat ring. Like I call you all rugrats in jest, but like you all have done some serious fucking organizing. So just because comrades are in college, just because comrades are like in YDSA, like that does not mean that these comrades are not intelligent, that these comrades are not capable of developing their own line from struggle. As a matter of fact, I would dare say that y'all are better than big DSA at it. Because just like watching you all's conventions, like you all have y'all shit somewhat together. Yeah, you try. I mean, yeah, I actually roomed with some YDSA people from East Bay, I think, and they woke me up by I kept hearing hee 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 click 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 click. I go after the fucking drinking Mad Dog and playing poker, not for money. But like, oh, I'm like, okay, this is the energy we've got. I took my ass and then went back to sleep. I'm like, okay, have fun. But like, but bullshit. Yeah, all bullshit aside though, you all have your shit together. Like I was particularly impressed by you all's interventions in the like I said before in the student intifada, which you mentioned. Like that's basically one of the that's basically one of the defining struggles of YDSA. And I really think that's like your intervention in that struggle kind of carved out a role for y'all within the movement. So yeah, it was dope.
Well, for DSA as a whole too. I mean, we saw in the wake of the encampments or during the encampments, there was sort of a rebuilding of relations between YDSA and SJP and PYM and some of these other organizations, which I think has kind of gone a long way to mending those ties at the national level with DSA as a whole. I think without the decisive role that a lot of YDSA chapters and YDSA members played in the student intifada, I don't think you see necessarily that warming of relations with the broader Palestinian solidarity movement. So, I mean, that was huge. But yeah, in general, I think the student intifada is one of the pivotal moments of the modern history of YDSA. And it's kind of why I make it one of the dividing lines between these three eras that I've tried to periodize YDSA's history into. At the sort of beginning of this new era of YDSA that we're in now starts with the reckoning this past NCC term with what we do in a post-encampments moment. You know, now that the momentum is sort of past, the student intifada, at least its active phase, has kind of dissipated. You know, how do we operate as a national organization and rebuild this kind of fighting force? And that's, I think, what was at stake at convention this year, and what a lot of the debate hinged around, whether it was explicitly or not as explicitly. But like, you know, the student union debate, I think, is ultimately a debate over what caused the student intifada to fail at most universities, and how do we rebuild going forward to ensure that that doesn't happen the next time.
Yeah. One thing that I heard discussed in a lot of YDSA circles is like the movement like off campuses and into the working class, like organizing working class youth, and like basically ensuring that YDSA has a foundation in the communities in which these schools are located. Going back to the '60s, even like the struggle at Columbia, which gave birth to, well, we could say that the Weather Underground started at Columbia because that's where Mike Rudd and all those comrades were. But like the masses of Harlem, because Columbia University is literally like smack dab in the middle of fucking Harlem. So it was a struggle over a gym. Like they were building a gym in Morningside Park, I believe, like literally like right around the corner from masses of working class black people, and they were gonna put the community out of the gym. They were basically like, this is only for Columbia faculty and students now on some Jim Crow shit. And the and the masses of students at Columbia, along with the masses of people in the community in Harlem. They got together, and you had occupations. You basically had like you had that legacy, which the comrades who participated in the student intifada at Columbia were proud to be were consciously organizing it. So I definitely think that YDSA actively moving towards, especially with universities that are in heavily Black or Latino areas, like building conscious ties with the masses of people. I mean, I'm a Maoist, so I'm like, we're all about like we're not necessarily sending you guys down to the countryside, but like you cannot just sit on a university campus and be like, oh, this is what we're doing, and just struggle around university issues.
Right.
Like the struggle on campus has to be merged with the struggle off campus, with the struggle in the community. And I think that YDSA comrades are conscious of that, and you all are actively moving towards that. So that's another reason why YDSA is something to be watched. So the consensus resolution that the NPC just passed, your national lead, well, their national leadership is now stipend. You've got staff support, you've got a discretionary budget, and you also got dues shares. So um, y'all got y'all money.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, one of the big developments over the past few years for YDSA was when we initially won those stipends back in 2023 and then defended them from the cuts in 2024. I think stipended political leadership, having an NCC that's able to be full-time organizers and not organizers and political leaders, plus also having to work at least one, but often two or more full-time jobs on top of being students. That was a sea change when that was passed back in 2023, and that allowed the kind of NCC we have now, where it operates more like a UniNoC, where each NCC member has a turf of various chapters, where they have deep one-to-one relationships with chapter leaders. That's what allows YDSA at the national level to move large numbers of chapters to take concerted action, and we saw some of this over the past term with these pivot to sanctuary campus campaigns. Already around 40 chapters nationwide are either running or planning some kind of sanctuary campus campaign, whether it's ICE off campus or non-compliance with some other aspect of the Trump administration's white terror. That wouldn't have been possible and wasn't possible in previous years, like we saw during what I call the uneven period when YDSA tried College for All, its first nationwide campaign. There wasn't the mechanism to get that kind of buy-in from different chapters, let alone to get them working on stuff according to a common plan at the national level. And we have that now, and I think we're experimenting with how we go about that. There's been some sort of not so successful efforts over the past couple of years because we're still kind of ironing out the kinks. But I do have a lot of faith in this new NCC to carry that out with the Sanctuary Campus or Socialist Sanctuaries campaign. And to your point earlier about expanding off campus, getting out to the general working class youth in the cities that our universities are in. I think that's also something that the Socialist Sanctuaries campaign is going to be crucial towards, and that was consciously part of the resolution. There was a separate resolution by Reform and Revolution this year that also passed by a large margin, sort of reaffirming, recommitting to, and outlining some of the next steps in building the youth wing, because this is year 3, I believe, in a 6-year process. But then the Socialist Sanctuaries campaign also said, as part of this, we're going to identify cities where there are multiple YDSA chapters and encourage them to take up not just sanctuary campus campaigns, but to take the lead on sanctuary city campaigns. So fighting ICE at the city level, getting out not just on campus, but off campus into the general working class neighborhoods to organize working class youth off campuses, recruiting people through that and building up an actual organized base of working class youth who aren't necessarily attached to any kind of educational institution, to actually make the drive towards off-campus youth organizing more concrete with an actual organized base. So I think this is what this looks like over the next couple of years, is running these campaigns that connect with off-campus youth and sharpening YDSA into the political tool, political weapon of these working class youth by building these municipal chapters, I guess.
You sound like a Maoist, Steve.
Well, when in Rome,
Man, I'm not going to attack you. I had one of your caucus's NPC people on. I didn't eat him alive, but I'm not a hostile interviewer.
Which one was it? Was it
Sid?
Sid, yeah, I love Sid. Sid's great.
Yeah. Actually, I ranked Cliff number 1, but yeah, Sid was
great too. Yeah, me and Cliff go back. We were in Atlanta DSA for a while.
Ooh.
Together, we worked together on the Stop Cop City stuff back in 2023 for a little bit. But
okay, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that that speech that he gave to the city council, I believe it was. But yeah, it's always good to see comrades organizing and working together and getting fruit from that organizing. So, speaking of youth, have you been following the situation in Nepal?
A little bit. I've been kind of busy the last couple of days, but I've been seeing stuff filter in. It seems very volatile. I heard the security forces have killed like dozens of people just in the first hours.
They've killed dozens of people. They've burned down the parliament. That's some British dude. He was like literally like he was motorbiking through the country, and he ended up smack dab in the middle of these fucking demonstrations.
Damn.
Away from it, and people have just been coming up.
The parliament building on fire behind him.
Wow. The spirit of the people won't be deterred. So what's the situation? Because I know there's the various left-wing parties that have become kind of institutionalized in power. Are any of the parties out of the government? Like, are there any of the various communist splinter groups that are kind of affiliated with the insurrection?
Yeah, you've got, it's the thing with like mass insurrections like this was not organized by a particular party. Like, it's not like the Bolshevik Revolution. This was basically like a mass uprising that started like with demonstrations, but because the cops started to shoot everybody, this is the consequence. So you have the various armed Maoist splinter factions that are 100% in support of the protests. You have the Congress, the Nepali Congress, who, to my understanding, is like a social democratic party. People are mad at them. Then you have the Communist Party of Nepal, Unified Marxist Leninists, which the Prime Minister, Oli, who has been getting cursed out in this video from the beginning, he was literally driven out of the country and his house was burned. No, I don't think he's left the country, but his house was burned to the ground and he was forced to resign. So this is basically Congress and I guess like this CPN UML is like, imagine if PSL was like incredibly further to the right. And the Congress Party is basically an even more rightist version of SMC and Groundwork. So yeah, that's who they're mad at. The Prachanda, the Maoists who are not really Maoists. I mean, his party is basically like the withered husk of the party that led the protracted People's War beginning in '96, and like he's basically like he's an ultra rightist now. He was prime minister for years, but they got expelled from the government last year, I think, or earlier this year. But they burned his house down too, so people still have a bit of smoke for him and his party. But from what I've seen on Twitter, Prachanda is like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? You should stop shooting people. Prachanda also condemned the October 7th attack. So yeah, fuck him. I'm glad they burned his house down. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, and people don't even know, like, because they basically ousted the government. So like the question is like, is the army going to take over? Is Biplav's basically like the hardline Maoists, are they going to take over? Like it's all up in the air, and a lot of people are worried because like in situations like this, the U.S. never misses an opportunity to meddle and fuck around. So of course, this is not a color revolution. This is a mass uprising against corruption. This is not an uprising about a social media ban. The social media ban was just like, it was a trigger, because when you stop people from talking on social media, like if I was a crooked party oligarch, I would love people yapping on social media. Let them talk. Let them talk on social media like they do in the United States. Because when you cut that shit off, what's going to happen? They're going to go out in the streets. People are going to talk. So they're going to go out on the streets. And then why would you order the police to just begin shooting people? Because that's really going to piss them off. And this is the result. Repression never works.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's the same kind of dynamic you see with the ICE raids right now going on all over the country. Like they sent the ICE and the military into Los Angeles, and of course people fought back. It's like but on the other hand, they're kind of like in a rock and a hard place, because if they don't do that, if they don't do stuff like that, then their political project just falls apart. So I guess it's kind of the, eternal problem of being a reactionary.
Yeah, that's why you don't become a reactionary. And hold on, this is funny as fuck. 1 second. Where is he? Oh, so this guy is part of the ML revisionist party, the CPN UML, and he's the finance minister. Hold on, and like this is hilarious. Watch it. They've chased this guy into a river. He's buck ass naked, and like.
Damn.
Yeah. They are not letting his ass go.
They're not fucking around. Wow.
Yeah. So you've got some idiot Hindutva asshole that is talking about whatever. That's the presidential palace, I believe, burning to the ground.
Yeah, so what do you think comes of all this?
Well, what do I hope comes of it? I hope the Maoists take over, like the actual Maoists. What do I think? Like, there's really no way to predict, especially since I'm not there. I do have a comrade that I talked to last night. Hey, look, Spider-Man. I do have a comrade that I talked to last night, but like, even he's like, I don't fucking know. So yeah, this is one of the Sakta ministers, the foreign ministry. Well, the foreign minister. And here's people storming her house and beating the shit. I think that's her son or her husband. I can't remember. And just trashing her furniture, beating the fuck out of her son or whoever that dude is. They've ripped her couch open, probably looking for money. Yeah. There's also this new group. It's called Safal, and they say the massacre on September 8th was class struggle. The working class has been openly attacked by the state. The first shot declaring a class war and working class must not defend itself. We have therefore organized a Safal Workers Committee to organize its defense. Immediate arrest of the government as public enemies. These are their demands. A people's tribunal against all public enemies. Disarming of the state, police, APF, and the army. Expropriation of all enemy property and citizenship. General arming of the masses for self-defense. Dissolution of the parliament by an elected workers' assembly. And general strikes and demonstration for the defense of the working class. Unanimous statements of all committee. Workers of the world unite. Oh, they're on some Bolshevik shit, sounds like.
Yeah, sounds like a classic minimum program, if you ask me.
Hey. Yeah. Burning tires, army in the streets. I've heard of struggle between various like factions within the army, within the military, and within the police. Because like a lot of these people come out of Maoist factions.
Well, that's often happens in revolutionaries.
Yeah. Maybe we've got Russia in the mountains. Who knows? Howard University students walk out demanding no cooperation. DC is still under occupation, by the way. Yep. So there's walkouts at Howard, historically black, Georgetown, George Washington, and American University. So yeah, that's what's going on in the world today.
Yeah. Well, the Supreme Court just upheld racial profiling in ICE sweeps. I guess it was yesterday, right?
Yeah. If you speak Spanish in LA, they can literally walk up to you and ask you for your papers.
Yeah.
Or if you're brown,
nobody fucking carries their papers. So it's just a license to.
Yeah. I don't know. You and I are both natural born Americans. We don't walk around with our fucking birth certificates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, watch this. Wait till it gets to 5. Wait till it gets to 5 seconds. Look what they do to this dude.
I think I saw this one.
Yeah. So this is
they kick him into the wall, right?
Yeah. This is a corrupt I think he's a deputy finance minister. They literally fucking flying kicked this dude into a wall. I don't know
Man, they
where
got
where did
ministers
Nepal
running
get
in the streets. It's crazy.
yeah, where did Nepal get all these fucking martial artists from? That's what I want to know.
Wow.
Yep. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Hey, look, that's us. Anyways, so
Man. Yeah, it seems like there's a real crisis. I mean, worldwide with all these sort of, I don't know, I guess institutional like center left parties, including the third world. Collapsing. Their governments, especially ones set up in like the 2000s, 2010s. You got Mas in Bolivia completely falling apart. Like I don't know.
That was because they kept squabbling with each other.
I know, yeah, they had the split, but I mean that's got to be indicative of something, right? I mean,
if you've got like enemies that want your country's lithium, like you should present some semblance of a united front. Now they've got, if I recall correctly, a pretty hard right wing party in power.
Yeah.
So Mas is basically like a dundada. It's kind of like what happened with it's kind of like what happened in Grenada. When the New Jewel movement took over in Grenada, like they were initially united, but then you had an ultra faction led by Winston Cord and Hudson Austin that they killed Maurice Bishop, who was extremely popular, but he was a bit of a centrist, but like he was the revolution in a lot of people's eyes. Like they literally put the dude under house arrest. The masses freed him from house arrest, and then they arrested him along with Jacqueline Kreft and a bunch of his comrades who supported his line, and they took him to a fort and they massacred them. That they still haven't found his body because they threw it in the Caribbean Sea. So like when you start fighting like that, and then as we know, Reagan invaded the country afterward. Right. So when you do shit like that, when you fight before the enemy, especially if you know that you are surrounded by enemies, that's what's going to happen. There's no reason why Arce and Morales and these various other people should have been fighting each other. Like, and that disorients the masses. Like if you come out and you say that, hey, we're helping you guys, we're united, and we're united with you, and we are defending our resources and stuff like that, and you start squabbling. Same thing with Thomas Sankara and in Burkina Faso. Like that's why military coups are inherently unstable. Because like all it takes is one person or a faction within the military to be like, you know what, fuck this guy. I think I should be in power. Fuck him. And then kill you. That's fucked up. That's why you have to have the masses with you. Otherwise, yeah, you might do some good shit. You might impose some good reforms like Sankara did, but it's still going to be constantly teetering because between the internal contradictions, which are primary in Maoist philosophy, and then the external bullshit that you're going through, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Marx and Engels said the form assumed, or paraphrasing here, but the form assumed by the dictatorship of the proletariat is the democratic republic. Maybe now we'd call it the democratic socialist republic, but
the People's Republic.
People's Republic, the form of government that actually brings the masses into self-government of the state and changes the composition of the state. I think, like with these in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s, you had a wave of revolutions that were very bureaucratic. They were militarist, and they did good things from a developmentalist perspective, but I think they were always inherently unstable because they didn't have, like in Mug we talk about the strategy of patience, taking power when you have an organized majoritarian mandate from the working class and are willing to enact a minimum program to make that majority capable of ruling. I think, when the revolution lacks that, you kind of inevitably see at worst collapse on the short term, at best some kind of long period of degeneration and kind of decay. And you saw that in the Eastern Bloc states. I think this is maybe partly what you've seen in Nepal, for example, today.
Maoists never even considered the Eastern Bloc states to be socialist. We consider them
right, of course.
You're also a big fan of Eugene Debs.
I am, yeah.
I was in his party.
Sorry, you cut out. What'd you say?
I said I was in I was in like one of the formations that grew out of the SPA. I actually started like my organizing in the SPUSA.
Oh yeah, SPUSA.
Yeah. I ended up flushing my red card down the toilet, but yeah, they made me mad. Greg Passon pissed me off. One of their presidential candidates, who has since died, David McReynolds, called Mike Brown a thug, and I was like, "Oh, this is what we're doing." Eesh. Debs wouldn't have liked that very much, but
no.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there were some people in the old party who would have, but
Stevie froze.
Debs would not have. He was. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is.
As you're in a basement, buddy.
Yeah, a bunker.
A bunker. Oh, you're a hotshot? He wouldn't have liked that long hair. He would have made you cut that. But anyways, yeah. And there are no degenerate American hippies. Mug, what is mug? You drink beer? What is mug? What is that? Are you Titoite faction? Yeah. But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I've never been. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sort of like a student of, I wouldn't say early American, like early 20th century socialism, but I do fuck with like the African Blood Brotherhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which ended up merging with the CPUSA. There's actually this book that, well, we make Liberation Caucus cadres read part of it. It's called False Nationalism, False Internationalism. It's written by Sakai and one of his collaborators. And it basically like explains like why all of these early socialist / communist formations fucked up. Like an alternate history scenario that I bounce around in my head is, what if the African Blood Brotherhood, because they were out in the streets of Tulsa fighting in 21 when that whole like little race war popped off. They were some pretty hard comrades. They a lot of World War I vets. So like my thing is like, oh, what if these comrades hadn't merged into the CPUSA and mitigated their line? But, yeah. Have you read Fire on the Mountain?
I have not.
Yeah, have you heard of it though?
Rings a bell. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about like what if Harriet Tubman had not been sick and was able to link up with John Brown. Yeah, it's dope. You should get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of what ifs.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say the Civil War and Reconstruction. I mean, that's the closest thing that the U.S. has ever had to an actual revolution. I think, that's like maybe the last great chance that there was to kind of reconstitute this social formation we exist in into something actually emancipatory, worthwhile.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But they fucked it up, and now they must be destroyed.
Yep.
So we have 656 people watching us. What else do you have to say to them?
Man, well, I mean, I could take it back to the article. Kind of the note I end on there is that if you're in YDSA, if you're a member of the youth wing of this socialist movement, this emerging socialist party, the tasks ahead are enormous. We're on the cusp of a new era for the socialist movement. I think youth are leading the charge there. But it's not just a daunting task that we've been handed, but it's also, it's a thrilling moment to be a part of. This is where the class struggle is. If you look at all the YDSA chapters that are running socialist sanctuary campaigns or something similar, there's millions of students and workers who we have the opportunity to reach and to present a new theory of change and hope for a new world, an alternative kind of politics. We just have to get out there and seize it. And, I think we're not going to be successful in everything over the next few years, but we have the opportunity to build something new and world historic. So if you're in YDSA now, get to organizing. If you're not, start a YDSA chapter, join one. If you're too old to be in YDSA, join DSA and help transform it to be more like YDSA. Because like we said earlier, youth lead the way, youth are the vanguard. So
somebody tried to
I would leave people with.
Yeah, somebody tried to fucking invite me into the YDSA Discord. I'm like, bro, I'm 31 years old. Fuck, like, are y'all hiring a principal or something? The fuck do I have doing with YDSA?
Hall monitor.
Yeah, fucking principal.
Yeah.
Motivational speaker. But
hear it from an old head.
Old head. Yeah, I helped start a group. It was called Progressive Youth Organization. I think like my freshman year of college. It was ultra left Maoist. It was like an ultra left Maoist thingy. But a lot of protests, a lot of handmade red and white banners.
Nice.
But yeah, I wonder where I'd be if I had joined DSA back then. This was before Bernie, by the way. This was like 2014, 2015.
Wow. Very different DSA.
Very different DSA. Like, yeah, the DSA of like DSA has been transformed radically by the upsurge in the Black Liberation Movement. I refuse to use the term Black Lives Matter. The Palestinian Solidarity Movement and the Student Intifada, and like this, the conditions under which we live. Like, mind you, 2014. This was before Trump. This was before, like, 2014 almost feels like a different world. The world has never been the same since August 8th, 2014. On August 8th, 2014, Mike Brown was still alive. Obama was still president. Like, we were still in that, like, I guess you could compare it to like the early 60s, like 1961, 62. I mean, you still had like you still had Freedom Riders buses being burned to bits, but like people were still living the fucking Eloy Lotus Eater's dream. Like, compare 1961 to 1968. And
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, the calm before the storm. That's what I would describe early 2014 as. I was 20 years old. Jesus Christ, I'm old as fuck. But yeah. But
I mean, YDSA was YDS back then, and we didn't have a national organization to speak of, and now we do. We have close to 200 chapters all over the country. A national party organization that's developing cadre out of those chapters and leading a nationwide struggle against ICE, against the Trump administration. For the Democratic Socialist Republic and the revolutionary transformation that's outlined.
Just call it a People's Republic, man. Damn.
I can't. I gotta rep the mug thought.
It's a People's Republic, Democratic Republic. I will give you. What is a Democratic Socialist Republic?
That's fair enough. Actually, within the mug internal debates on what we would officially call it, I was on the side of Democratic Republic over Democratic Socialist Republic, but we lost on that. So I guess in our caucus literature, we call it the Democratic Socialist Republic.
Oh, I think Nepal has like. Let me see what Nepal's full name is. The Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. Yeah.
No, fuck that.
But let's be real. There's not going to be a fucking United States after we finish. So, yeah, you can call the white people gulag whatever you want, though.
the Democratic Socialist Republic of the white gulag.
yeah, the cracker control canton.
Cracker control.
The cracker containment area. The Democratic Republican cracker containment area.
Just call it Chaz.
There you go. But all right, all 680 of you. This has been Comrade Steven. So what are your plans for now that you're no longer in your YDSA fiefdom? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I've been thinking a lot about that, of course. So right now, this year, I am going to be contesting leadership of the local DSA organizing committee, the local chapter that's forming. I want to.
Wait, you're not even in a DSA chapter? Oh, you're forming a DSA chapter.
Just starting. Yeah, there hasn't been one in the upstate for a while, so it's kind of it's been a wasteland out here. But
wait, you're from upstate South Carolina?
I am. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Interesting terrain to be organizing in, but we're working on it. So yeah, I'm going to be doing that this year. Building up a strong chapter here, and then after that I want to go on and become a public school teacher, join the teachers union movement, help reform those into fighting militant unions. Long-term plan is to remake the public sector labor movement in the Southeast and build a real fighting force that can shut shit down and put some pressure on the state governments.
DSA to public school teacher pipeline confirmed.
Yes, many such cases.
Chances are if you go to a DSA meeting, 30% of the people there are going to be fucking teachers.
Yeah, I mean, especially from YDSA, a real conveyor belt.
The McCarthyists were right. The communists are infiltrating our schools.
God bless.
Yeah, my degree is I could technically, I think, I'd have to get a master's, but I could be a substitute teacher. My degree is in African American studies and political science. So
you could probably just get certified to get your licensure. You probably don't have to go through with a master's.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I do. Yeah, why not teach for a living? I already teach fuckers about Maoism for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, people keep saying I'd make a good teacher. So why not?
Think about it. Yeah, I mean,
maybe they make a movie about me.
Exactly. There's a big fight going on. A lot of the fight right now is in these big northeastern and midwestern locals like UFT in New York, CTU in Chicago. That's where, especially UFT in New York, because that's one of the real last strongholds of the kind of opportunist, corrupt union bureaucracy. You know, and if the DSA members there crack that union, they crack not just the Federation of Teachers nationwide, but also like the AFL-CIO. That's like when we get the power to start shaking shit up, you know. But where I'm at is doing that work down here in the South, because these unions have really been reduced to nothing. Gutted. Yeah. They barely exist. They think of themselves as professional associations. You know, it's a really sad state of affairs. But there's, you know, the beginnings of a fight here. There's socialists in Georgia and North Carolina who are becoming teachers. People from my own YDSA chapter are graduating out, becoming teachers.
Okay.
I think, you know, we're going to set up a real machine and build a strong, militant, socialist teachers union movement, not just to change the trajectories of students' lives for decades, but also to build a fighting force that can raise these demands against the state governments down here and crack open those, you know, political fiefdoms of the ruling class down here. So,
you know who was a teacher? You know who else was a teacher?
A lot of people.
Mao.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
He was a public school teacher. Gonzalo was also Gonzalo was a university professor at the University of Ayacucho. Yeah, I have not gotten around to reading his. Yeah, I've not gotten around to reading his doctoral thesis, but yeah, you could be the Abimel Guzman of upstate South Carolina.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, just don't go around pouring hot water on people. But it's good talking to you, man. Anytime.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Have a good one.
All right.